Good morning or good afternoon. Today we are going to be going over calculator skills number 7. We're going to start off with the first question. Given the function, which function is equivalent to f of x equals to 4 open parentheses x minus 3 quantity squared plus 5, and then the assessment is going to give you four answer choices: letter A, letter B, letter C, and letter D. This looks like a more complicated one, but it really is super simple. And do be careful, because on the questions that I create, I mirror them similar to our state test, but in addition to that, I might put no answer, or I might put one answer or two answers or three answers. So you got to make sure you double check all your work. So which function is equivalent? So the way we do this is we input the function f of x is equal to 4 open parentheses. Remember that you don't have to worry about this f of x. All you have to do is input this function. So I'm going to go ahead and input it onto my Desmos calculator. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 4 open parentheses, 4 open parentheses, x minus 3, close parentheses, quantity square, positive 5. So I get my U shape. And then let me find my U shape on my Desmos. I have my Desmos right there, and I have my U shape. I already know that and let's talk a little bit about this U shape. We have our vertex as being 3, 5. We have our y-intercept way above there. But if you look at this one, this looks really interesting because it doesn't cross my x-axis at no point. So since it doesn't cross my x-axis at no point, this parabola would have no zeros or no x-intercepts. It does have one vertex. It's got my axis of symmetry. What is my axis of symmetry? My axis of symmetry is the x value of my vertex, which is x equals to 3. Now I know all that, but the question at hand is which function is equivalent to this thing. So on number 2, I'm going to just input this one on letter choice A. And then I'm going to put it here, 16 x squared minus 96 plus 149. And there it is. Looking at that, yes, it does have the same vertex, but it's not identical, because in order for it to be equivalent, it has to be the same exact equal, so they have to be overlapping. So when I take off the green, it has to be the same exact graph on top of each other. And it does not, so letter A is not a choice. So I'm going to go ahead and scratch it out in green. And that right there is not a choice. So then I'm going to go to my next one, letter B. And I can leave that there. And I can go ahead and just uncolor it, put in the next one. I'm going to go ahead and put 4x squared positive 41. And where's my purple? Is it here? Oh, there it is. It's way up there. That one, again, does not overlap this one. So this one is not an answer. Then I'm going to go to C, and I'm going to put in my next one. I'm going to take away this out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and put in my next one. My next one is 4x squared minus 96x positive 29. And then I look at the graph. Nope, not even close. So my U shape is way off. So this one is the wrong answer. And I put in my last one. I'm going to go ahead and unclick it. And then I'm going to put in my 16x. So I put 16x squared minus 96x positive 29. And I have 16x minus 96x positive 29. And once again, they're not even close. So at this point, I have either done something wrong, if it's a correct answer choice. So that's the reason why I leave everything there. So I need to double check. everything to make sure it is correct. So then I go back to my blue one, and I gotta find my blue one. It's way up there. So I have my blue one, I have my red one, and I gotta make sure my decimals, I inputted 16x squared minus 96x plus 29. That is correct. That's not a correct one. Then I check the next one, 4x squared minus, there's a mistake. So then right here, it shouldn't have been, it should have been negative 24. So I'm just gonna replace it, negative 24. And then I put, it should have been positive 41. So then I look at it and I say, wow, where is it? It's not up there. It's not down there. Okay, so it's probably this one. Well, let's put it. Interesting. So then I'm going to click on it, click off. It should be the identical, and I want to be extra sure that it is the correct answer. And it is. So I click both of them. They should form the exact thing, and I want to be extra sure. I go to a little bit deeper level, and it should be the same exact one. When I click off, I click on, and I click on. It should be identical. So once again, letter C is your answer choice. So once again, if you saw that I made a mistake in inputting. All I do is I leave everything there, and I inputted it wrong. So then that is the correct answer. So let's go ahead and try number 2, which function is equivalent. Remember, equivalent means that they are equal. So once again, let me go ahead and restart my decimals, and I'm going to go ahead and delete all of them. And I'm going to input the first function. And of course, if you want to try it, go ahead and pause the video, and then of course you can go ahead and try it and see if you get the right answer. And if you get the right answer as the same one that we did, then we got it correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and start inputting x plus 4, quantity square, a to the square, minus 5. Got to find my U shape. My U shape has to be here somewhere. There is my U shape. They put it in blue. I have my vertex there. I have my x-intercepts there. And I have my y-intercept probably way above there. So I already have my first graph. Then I'm going to put in the second one as 4x squared plus 8x plus 16. Oh wow, so is it here? Nope, it's way above there. Remember, when I click it, it's got to be different. No, it's got to be the same because they're equivalent. So again, I'm going to input the next one. It's going to be 3x squared positive 24x positive 42. That one's not there. Okay, they're not exactly as the blue one. So I'm going to take that one out. Almost the same, but if you look at it, they're not overlapping. So by looking at it, by increasing the dimensions, that one is not overlapping, so it doesn't overlap with that one. So of course, this is not equivalent. Then I put in my third one. And again, 5x squared plus 20x plus 15. And just by looking at it, they are not equivalent. They are not on top of each other exactly. So this one is not equivalent. So this one's wrong. And letter D, I'll put the last one in. 8x squared positive 15x minus 12. And there it is. Also not equivalent. So I have no answers here. So I got to go back and check my work to make sure I did it correctly, because once again, I like to sometimes put no answer. So I'm checking this one. I inputted it correctly. I checked this one. I inputted it correctly. I check 3x squared, I inputted it correctly, and then I check 4x squared plus 8x plus 16, I inputted it correctly, and I go to my original equation, I check 3 open parentheses x plus 4 quantity squared minus 5, I inputted it correctly. So once again, this one has no answer. So no answer. Even though one that was very close, but it wasn't the right one. So once again, the concept is to find out whether they're equivalent or they're not equivalent. And again, that is how you figure out from a complicated question to make it easy. As long as you know how to maneuver Desmos, it can give you the correct answer. So now I'm going to give you number 3. So if we're given an equation, f of x is equal to negative 4x plus 8. The second equation, this is going to be a system. Second equation has a different slope. So we already have this in y equals mx plus b. If you see the slope is negative 4. All the criteria on the second equation is that it has a different slope. I can say 2 is a different slope. I can say 4 is a different slope. I can say negative 2 is a different slope as long as it has a different slope. And then I can do whatever number I want right there. And all I have to do is graph them, and they ask which statement is true. System has no solution, system has one solution, system has two solutions, or system has infinite many solutions. So I'm going to go ahead and graph the first one, and I'm not going to put the y equals. I'm just going to put negative 4x with the square. Oh no, no square on this one because it's linear. Almost forgot. I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and then I'm going to put positive 8. There's my first linear equation. My second one that I created was 2x plus 3. I have my system. I have my negative 4. And I have my positive 2 with a different slope. I'm going to look at the green one and the blue one. And where they match, they exactly cross at one point. So which statement is true? The system has no solutions. That's incorrect. Why? Because it does have one solution. The system has one solution. It crosses at one point. This is the answer. The system has two solutions. Doesn't have two solutions. That is incorrect. And the system has infinite many solutions. That is incorrect. So once again, we are looking at that and we are making sure that it is correct. So the system only has one solution. So, given the next one, you're given this time negative 5x plus 6. The second equation has the same slope. Which statement is true? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the same slope. I'm going to circle the slope right here, which is your rate of change. The second equation has the same slope. So if it has the same slope, it has to have a negative 5 in the second one. So rewrite the second one as any other equation. So you can pause it. You can try to do it yourself before I do the work. You can pause it, try to see which one is correct by inputting into decimals. But again, the second equation has the same slope. If it does have the same slope, then it has to be negative 5x. Remember, negative 5 and negative 5 is the same slope. And then it says second equation has the same slope, but it doesn't say any criteria about anything else. So I can just put again plus 3. And then I'm going to graph both equations. I'm going to graph the first one as negative 5x plus 6. And then I'm going to graph the second one as negative 5x plus 3. And then I have to see if it crosses at one point. And you're going to see that lines that have the same slope are never going to cross. You can keep on going up and you can keep on going down. Those lines are never going to cross. Why are they never going to cross? Because the lines are parallel. Anytime that they have the same slope, they have parallel lines and they're never going to cross. They're never going to meet. They're never going to touch each other. So now we go to the question. Which statement is true? It has no solutions. Does it cross at one point? No. That is your answer. If I look at B, it has one solution. It never crosses. It never meets. That's incorrect. C, the system has two solutions. It's not going to cross at 2 points. That's incorrect. And the system has infinite many solutions. No, they're not on top of each other. So once again, that is not correct. So the answer is B. So it's just a matter of reading the question. Okay, the next one, as you can see, is just calculator skills. We're asking if the equation is true. And what this means is that we're just going to say W equals to negative 26 divided by 9. And so anywhere where there's a W, I'm going to go ahead and put a negative 26 over 9. Remember, this side has to be equal to this side. So I'm going to draw my railroad tracks. I'm going to test the left side, and then I'm going to test the right side after that. So first of all, I am going to input the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and input it into my Desmos. Let Desmos do the work. I'm going to do 7 times negative 26 divided by 9. I'm going to click my space right here. I'm going to put minus 2, open parentheses, W is negative 26, divided by 9. And then I'm going to click my space right here. And then I'm going to go minus 9, close parentheses. And then I'm going to close my parentheses, of course. Don't forget to close my parentheses. And the answer is 3.5555. This side right here is 3.55. So I'm going to test this side right here. And I'm going to check to see if this is true. If they're true, they're equal. If they're not true, then it's not equal. So I'm going to test the second one. And I'm going to go 4 minus 8 times W plus 2. So I'm going to go ahead and input it. 4 minus 8. Open parentheses, my W is negative 26 divided by 9. And then I'm going to push my arrow right here. And then I'm going to put it right here. I have negative 8, open parentheses, negative 26 divided by 9. And then I'm going to put positive 2, close parentheses. And the answer is 11.11111. So of course, this is a false statement. This is not a true statement. So once again, this is a false statement. Now, the next one, you can go ahead and try it. I would recommend, there's parentheses here, but I would recommend to try it out with calculator skills rather than just knowing that I'm just having the same equation and putting 15 divided by 13 and just inputting it like that. But once again, if you know how to do the calculator skills and you don't need to practice, all you would have to do is get rid of this negative right here. Like this. You just get rid of all the negatives on the bottom one. And then and you would click here. You would get rid of this 15 because it's 15 over 3. So I would get rid of that and I would just input 15. I would get rid of this 9 and I would input 13. I will get rid of this 26, put 15 over 13, and get rid of this one, 15, get rid of the 9, and put 13. But my recommendation is to practice on this, try to see if this gives you the same answer. Once again, this side is not equal to this side. So once again, this side is 23.769. And this side is negative 21.230769. So they are not equal. This is wrong. So it is a false statement. So once again, it is a false statement. So once again, it's just a matter of checking it on Desmos. Let us go to number 7. So given the quadratic, we have 4x squared minus 81. Find out if those A or B are factors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put in this quadratic the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and put in 4x squared minus 81. And of course, you know that is a difference of squares. I can find out the difference of squares and then it pops out and it is a factor. That would be one of the factors. But if I can just input it on Desmos, why don't I just input it on Desmos? So then there is my U shape. Now, if it is a factor, it's going to go through the x-intercept. So let me find my x-intercept. My x-intercept is negative 4.5 and 4.5. So all I do is test this one, 9x minus 2. And if it goes through my x-intercept, then it is a factor. Doesn't go through this x-intercept and doesn't go through this x-intercept. So this one is not a factor. I'm going to test out B. Is B is a factor? I can always leave that there and take this one out. So I'm going to go ahead and input 2x minus 9. I'm going to input 2x minus 9. Aha, it goes straight through my x-intercept. So this one is a factor. We can even put a happy face because it is a factor. Number 8, we're going to go ahead and check if those two are factors. It's the same equation, so I can go ahead and just leave the same equation there. It is my U-shape, and I got to check to see if it is a factor. I'm going to go ahead and put the first one, 4x, and you can try it out if you want to before I do the work. Minus 9. It does not go through my x-intercept, so once again, this is not a factor. I can leave it there, click it there, and then just put in my 2x, positive 9. And my blue does go through my x-intercept, so that one is a factor. So yes to this one, happy face. So once again, in order for it to be a factor, it has to go through my x-intercept of my quadratic in order for it to be a factor. Okay, now we're going to go on to problem number 9. So number 9, all it is calculator skills. So we got a f of x is equal to 3x squared minus 7. Right here, x is 4. So that's all the work I have to know. X is equal to 4. Why? Because the x is right here, the x is right here. X does equal to 4. So once again, let me erase this so I can make it cleaner and cleaner. So once again, x does equal to 4. All I do is utilize my calculator skills and pop out an answer. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 times x squared, which is 4 raised to the square, minus 7. And my answer is 41. So let me write it down, 41. And just by inputting into Desmos, let Desmos do the work for you. If we look at number 10, another quadratic, don't pay attention to this right here. Let me take that out. Don't pay attention to that, it's just the page number. So the first step is I'm just going to have to understand that x equals to negative 4. And this one's a little bit more trickier than the first one. Because all I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to input it and I'm going to rewrite it here. I don't have to worry about this. This is just a fancy way of saying y. So the way I would input this in the calculator, we got to understand that x equals to negative 4. So the way I would put it is I would do 4 times, and then I would do a quantity, negative 4 square. Why am I doing the quantity and why am I doing the parentheses? Because I can't say negative 4 is not the same thing as negative 4 quantity square. Negative 4 square is not the same thing as negative quantity square. And then I'm going to go minus 5, and what is your x here? Times negative 4, positive 6. So that is the way I input it into Desmos. So let me go ahead and input that one into Desmos. I'm going to go ahead and say 4 times quantity. It's a negative 4. I got to put it in parentheses. Close parentheses. Quantity square. It's a negative 4. It's telling me to square negative 4. And then I'm going to go minus 5 times negative 4 plus 6. And my answer is 90. So once again, try it out if you understand it. If you don't understand this right here, you can go ahead and try it out without that and find out if x equals to negative 4. So it's just a matter of learning how to input on Desmos. So if we're going to number 11, this is also a rate of change. Remember the key word for rate of change is slope. And remember that this is already in y equals mx plus b. First step, I know what my m is, I know what my slope is, and my rate of change is negative 4. That's an easy one because it's already on y equals mx plus b. Now all I have to do is graph it, and I can find my other two answers. I go negative 4x plus 6 gives me an x-intercept and a y-intercept. My x-intercept is 1.5, comma 0, or 1.5. Remember, my x-intercept is 1.5, comma 0, and of course, my 0 is 1.5. If I want to find my y-intercept, all I have to do is find out where it crosses my y-axis, and my y-axis is 0, comma 6. And then we go to number 12. Number 12 is also already given to you in y equals to mx plus b. I already know my rate of change, which is the same thing as writing slope. And of course, if you want to practice, practice it. If you don't want to practice, it's okay. We can go ahead and do it together. -5 is my slope because it is the m. M is slope, b is y-intercept. My 0, all I have to do is graph it. So I'm going to go ahead and input it on Desmos. And I'm going to go ahead and input -5x minus 6. And that is my answer. So I'm going to find my x-intercept. My x-intercept is -1.2, comma 0, or -1.2 is my 0. If I want to find my y-intercept, all I have to do is unclick here. And I don't have to unclick it, but I'm going to see where it crosses the y-axis. And it's 0, comma -6. So again, that is my y-intercept, that is my 0, and that is my slope rate of change. If we go to number 13, we're dealing now with an exponent. So once again, this is an easy exponent. All I'm going to do is multiply 3 times 6. Once again, if I don't know what 3 times 6 is, all I do is place it in my Desmos. 3 times 6 is 18. And then I'm going to multiply a power to a power with the same base. So I'm going to do m. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this exponent. And I'm going to get this exponent. And I'm going to add it. So it's m to the 14th. And that is my answer. That one is super, super easy. If you want to try number 14, go ahead and try that one by yourselves. Pause it and then go ahead and let's see if we got the same answer. But again, you're going to multiply 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24. You have a base, the same base. So you're going to keep the same base and you're going to add the exponents. 3 plus 8, which gives me an 11. So that is my answer, 24, m to the 11th. If we go to number 12, we automatically see that this is with a tiny little x. This is called an exponential function. So I'm going to abbreviate it as exponential function. It's exponential when it has a tiny little x. If it would have a square there, then it will be a quadratic. If it doesn't have anything, it just has a regular x, 4x, then it is a linear. But this is an exponential function. All I want to know is what is a y-intercept. So all we do is graph it. This is another easy one. And I don't have to put y equals 2. I can just put this in. I'm just going to go 3 times, open parentheses, 2 divided by 3, close parentheses, quantity, and of course I forgot to do that. I'm just going to backspace, and then I'm going to backspace it some more like this. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 right here, 3, and then I'm going to put my space, and then I'm going to put my parentheses, and then I'm going to quantity square, not the quantity square, this is quantity x. So I'm going to push this button, a raised to the b. It's going to raise it. I'm going to put the x, and there it is. My y-intercept is 0, 3. So that is my answer. That's all I was asking. It is exponential, and if they wanted you to graph it, it would be something like that. If I look at my next one, and you're going to see that this is an x, this is also an exponential. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph it, and I want to find my y-intercept. So all I'm going to do is graph this, and I'm going to go ahead and say 3, open parentheses, and then I'm going to do 1 divided by 3, and then I'm going to do my space, or I can click up here, and then I'm going to close my parentheses, and then I'm going to do quantity to the b. So it's quantity to the x, so I'm going to do quantity to the x, and there it is. And then I want to find my y-intercept, and it is 0, 3. And that's my answer. And once again, this is an exponential because of this little x right there. Okay, we're going to do our last four problems. Which expression is equivalent? Once again, let Desmos do the work. Which expression is equal is the same word that I'm using. So all I do is I get on my trusty Desmos and I get my first one and I'm going to do square root of 75. And it gives me 8.66666,025 whatever it is. So then I'm going to input letter A right here, and I'm going to check it. If they're equal, they're equivalent. If they're not equal, they're not equivalent. So I'm going to go ahead and input 5 square roots of 3. Are they equal? 8.660254033784. So 5 square roots of 3 are equivalent. So that is an answer. If I want to check the other ones, which I should check the other ones, I'm going to come back here on space number 2 and I'm going to check this one. 15 square root of 5. Not equivalent, not even close. I'm going to check the next one. And I don't want to click there. I want to click here. 3 square roots of 5. Close, but not really close. So that one is wrong. So I'm going to check the last one. 5 square roots of 15. So I got to click right here. 5 square roots of 15. And it's 19.3. So this one is wrong, this one is wrong, this is wrong. So again, that is my answer. So that is always usually on the STAAR test, 99% of the time. That is a problem that you can get right. If we go to the next one, same thing. Which expression is equivalent to square root of 90? So all I'm going to do is change the square root to 90. I'm going to get my answer as 9.48683. And then I'm going to check each one of them to see which one is correct and which one is wrong. So again, I'm going to see if it has an answer. So all I'm going to do is 3 square roots of 5. Not even close, so this one is wrong. Letter B. 5 square roots of 7. Wrong. Then I'm going to check my next one. Letter C. 4 square roots of 2. Wrong. And letter D. 3 square roots of 10. Oh wait, I did it wrong. I can just correct it. 3 square roots of 10. 9.486392, exactly the same. So of course this is my right answer. So once again, the answer choice is letter D. Last, for 19 and 20, you're going to find out which factors of 2x squared plus x minus 15. And of course, I made 19 the same as number 20 because I didn't have any space. So the way I would check factors, if it falls through the x-intercept, it is a factor. If it doesn't fall through the x-intercept, it's not a factor. So all I'm going to do is graph this one, and then I'm going to check every single one of them independently. So I'm going to go ahead and graph it. So I'm going to put 2x squared. Positive x. Can I put 1x? Yes, it's the same exact thing. Minus 15. And there it is. My x-intercepts are right there, and they're primed and ready to go. So I'm going to check my first one as being x plus 3, and it's always good to leave them there. There it is, our first factor. It goes through my x-intercept, so this is correct. If I go to B, I'm going to go ahead and click this one. And I'm going to go to this one, and I'm going to input 2x minus 3. And it doesn't go through any one of my x-intercepts, so that is not an answer. So this one is wrong. I'm going to go to C, D, E, and F, and I'm going to check every single one of them. I'm going to unclick here. I'm going to go to C, and it is x plus 5. We're going to check to see if it goes through my x-intercept. It does not, so this one's not a right answer. I'm going to check letter E, and I'm just going to put it in the next one, x minus 3. I'm going to see if that one goes through my x-intercept. And it does not. It almost does, and I almost forgot to unclick this one. And it goes through there, but it almost doesn't. But again, it has to go straight through it. So this one is wrong. And then letter D, and let me just make sure. Nope, it doesn't go through my x-intercept. So let me unenlarge it. Let me click out of here. Then I got 2 more to check. I'm going to go ahead and check 2x minus 5. And yes, that is a factor. So another happy camper right there. And then I'm going to go and check the last one, 2x plus 5. I'm going to unclick this one because I want to just look at that one. And it doesn't go through my x-intercept. So again, letter D is a factor. And of course, letter A is a factor. So those are my 2 factors that are given to me in 19 and 20. Once again, I hope the calculator skills, you learned a lot during our calculator skills practice. Once again, the essence of this is try to get you to practice on the basic skills of our Desmos, basic skills of the calculator, and of course, making sure that you understand how to deal with the Desmos. I want you to have a great day, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for being such amazing math students. Thank you.